Hi everyone, and welcome to the latest of the International Manifesto Group's Zoom panels on the US versus China, whose economy is winning. My name is Radhika Desai, and I'm the convener of the International Manifesto Group. I'm speaking to you from the city of Winnipeg in Manitoba, Canada, which stands on the stolen lands of the Anishinaabe, the Cree, the Oji-Cree, the Dakota, and the Dene peoples, and is also the homeland of the Métis Nation. It is my special honor to moderate this event, whose exciting lineup of speakers includes my husband, Alan Freeman, and three good friends, Mick Dunford, Michael Hudson, and Michael Roberts. I share so many interests with all of them. I could talk to each of them for hours. So folks, I really think we're in for a treat. Let me tell you a little bit about why. A critically important part of the Cold War between the United States and China is being fought out over growth statistics and measurements, with the Western media and institutions such as the IMF constantly talking down China's growth and talking up that of the United States. While our speakers will shed considerable light on these realities, on the realities underlying these discourses, let me just set the stage very briefly by making a few remarks. I should add here that what I'm going to say is based on the analysis embodied in the manifesto, which our group has recently published. And I'm just going to put the manifesto's URL in the chat so that you can go and take a look at it if you are interested. Please consider reading it and signing it. It's already available in many languages. So again, if including Chinese, Spanish, as you'll see, Italian, many other languages. So please consider signing it, reading it, and sending it to your friends. So to my remarks, Marx had anticipated, and a major constellation of later Marxist writers had analyzed how capitalism had already reached its maturity by the early 20th century, when it reached its monopoly phase. That maturity, it is well known, had also culminated in intense intercapitalist and inter-imperialist competition that led to the Second World War. One second, I'm just going to, oops. Let me, so let me just start again. That maturity, as is well known, had culminated in intense intercapitalist and inter-imperialist competition that led to what Arno Meyer called the 30 Years Crisis, consisting or encompassing 2 world wars and a Great Depression. Thereafter, if capitalism witnessed a golden age, it was chiefly based on borrowing heavily from the socialist toolkit, running economies for full employment, creating the conditions for rising productivity and wages, expanding demand through state investment, and much else besides. Though even with such measures, there were many who remarked that the most stable and sustained growth was actually being experienced in the Soviet Union, even at that time. When, being what it was, that is crisis-prone capitalism, the underlying capitalist system nevertheless ran into a complex crisis of falling productivity growth, wage and commodity price pressures, falling profits and investment, and saturated markets, the West faced 2 choices. The capitalist West faced 2 choices: affirm the truth of the successes of the Golden Age and deepen socialist measures and reforms, or follow the siren song of intellectuals and think tanks supported by major corporations and consider the golden age to be the wrong turn, and instead free capital from the constraints put on it by societies and states and working classes, in the belief that these were the problems, the constraint were the problems, and released from them, capitalism would recover its productive dynamic. That was over 40 years ago. The record of those years is what our speakers will be examining. It has certainly produced a productively enfeebled, financialized, speculative and predatory, innovatively challenged, demand-constrained, inequality-ridden economy that caters to the needs of a narrowing elite. Today's speakers will examine the details of the actual achievements of the neoliberal turn and help us understand why socialism is once again on the horizon of humankind, more than 3 decades after the fall of the Soviet Union.